PowerTrend and how we use it. So PowerTrend is our most basic tool. It's used across multiple time frames on any stock, any crypto, any type of trade that you want to be doing. It usually sits above the bottom one, so it's a top side of the graph tool. It will come up here. Now let's talk about a few things. Oftentimes in trading, you'll find setups, and PowerTrend is a unique tool in the sense that it can actually bring in a lot more variables than just the trend itself, right? So when you're trading a trend, you can be trading crossovers, for example, and trading a crossover in a downward trend, which can often be a dangerous scenario. So you always want to be trading in the direction of trend, and sometimes setups where it's just a crossover of a moving average doesn't actually take into account the bigger trend. All right, so PowerTrend here, I've got it set up on 3 charts. We've got a Renko chart over here on the right, we've got a Heiken Ashi in the middle, and we've got a standard chart on the left. Now let's just for a minute ignore the bottom graphs. The bottom graphs are other tools that I use, and we can talk about them in future videos, but let's just focus on PowerTrend. The PowerTrend settings, I've opened up the graph here so you can see the different attributes that are there. Now I've also added some Fibonacci layers on as well, so this gives me a target. It tells me where price has a high potential to reverse. So for profit target setting, for understanding where there could be price action that would allow me to get out of a trade, possibly take some profits and then rebuild the position. All of those strategies are visible once you start putting the settings in and you put your graphs up on a screen like this, right? I find trading can be overcomplicated, and the best results I've always had is when I've simplified things down, right? So with PowerTrend, it's a very simple tool to use. When you open it up, you've got different types of moving averages, you've got different types of crossovers. Now you've got to watch the bottom. This is really where everything counts, is this win rate and profit factor. Without a high win rate and a high profit factor, you might as well be trading on luck. All right, so you need to know that the stock you're trading matches and works with the tools you're using. You cannot assume in trading that every stock is going to work the same on a crossover, for example. Right? That's why we have different win rates on different trades and different stocks. So the first thing you have to have is a minimal watch list. Right? Don't trade everything. Just trade either SPY, for example, or QQQ, or trade the futures. Don't trade every single asset. Okay, that's step number 1. Step number 2, choose your time frame. Okay, make sure that your time frame is consistent. Now, there's a couple of settings here that you need to be aware of. When we trade a Renko chart, we always want our time settings on 1 minute, and you want your block size based on the ATR, okay, of the time frame you are trading. Okay, so I know that I could get a signal at any minute once price has moved a particular distance, all right, on a Renko chart. That's how it works. It's got nothing to do with time. Renko charts have nothing to do with time. The time factor here only affects the signaling from the tools. So all I'm looking here is price. All right. Now, Renko charts are non-standard, and a lot of people tend to discount them, but I think they're quite valuable in understanding price action by itself. Price action by itself is a unique identifier of trend. You want to be stuck in stocks that are moving in the right direction, and Renko charts are very, very good at doing that. Heiken Ashi is time-centric, not price-centric. So it's the opposite of a Renko chart, right? And you've also got to bear in mind, when you're trading these different kinds of non-standard charts, your results at the bottom of the screen are going to be slightly inflated or deflated. They're not going to be realistic. So you have to bear in mind that when you're looking at your tool's effectiveness, it should work on all 3, all right? You should not take, just because it's showing an 80% win rate on a Heiken Ashi, that's what you will get, all right? We still haven't spoken about emotion, timing, and all the mistakes that come with trading. So we're looking here at the NVDL stock. This is a 2 times leveraged NVIDIA stock. The signal here triggered 9:30 on Wednesday last week, and it's been in a solid uptrend since then. There were 3 other trades before, and it's a reasonable win rate. But again, it's a Renko chart, so I'm not looking at this and saying that's an absolute. This is going to be discounted by a little bit, and as long as it's supported by data in the other chart formats, there might be something worth looking at here. So Heiken Ashi, not very good. All right, that's clear evidence that you've got to take these with a pinch of salt in a way, right? Let's look at the normal chart. Normal price action, that's a pretty decent win rate, pretty decent profit factor, and you would have made a lot of money. Okay, so this kind of trading is really important. Don't just take one graph as gospel. Look at them across all 3. Does the tool seem to work visually? We look at this on the Heiken Ashi. Yeah, it's capturing these movements. It's avoiding us trading in these gray areas, which indicate downward or sideways trending. And on the Renko chart, it's the same. All right. So really good setup. Nice trade to have. I trade this fairly often. I like the stock itself. It's fairly liquid. Trades quite a nice volume. So I use this as part of my my US dollar tax-free account. I don't know what they call it in the US, but I put that in. It supplements the growth element in the account. So when you use PowerTrend, let's just open these settings again. I'm opening up the ones here on the Renko chart. Pick your moving averages carefully. All right, you'll get different results based on different types of moving averages. Set your volatility. What's the volatility framework you want to use? Do you want to use a daily? Do you want to use a 15-minute? What are you trading? Intraday, weekly? How are you trading? You've got to decide that for yourself. There's some traders that like to trade intraday, some guys who prefer to trade on a monthly basis or weekly basis. Make sure that your volatility baselines that will help you identify the trend of price is appropriate for the time frame you are trading. Many times in the years that I've been trading, I've often spoken to guys who flip and change their time frames that they trade. One day it's the 5-minute chart, next day it's the 15, then it's the 20, then it's the 145. Just be consistent. Okay, if you've got your tools set up correctly, you know that if you're doing 45-minute candles, you will only get a signal at the end of those candles. All right, there's no need to sit in front of the screen and drive yourself insane watching ticks on a 1-minute chart. I'm just not a fan of that at all. Anyway, let's move on. In the tool, you could do long and short. All right, some stocks are great for short trading. Some stocks are not good for short trading. Some stocks you'll do long and short and neutralize your results. So understand that short trading sometimes can wipe out all the profits you had on the long side. So pick a direction and stick with that direction. I prefer to just go to the long side. The market has a natural tendency to go up over time. Therefore, for me, it makes sense to be trading in that direction over the long haul. Short side, I would rather do short side trading in different ways. Maybe, using, the long versions of the short side or the inverse ETFs are probably my preferred stock. But again, different strokes for different folks, and you can be a good trader without trading the short side. So understand that. Don't be sucked into doing both because you feel you have to. Pick what you want. Moving on, we can use divergent bars or we can use momentum bars to adjust the entries. Let's play with this a little bit and see if we can find different settings. So if I can shift my volatility band to the day, all right, we're trying to beat a 60% win rate. We still have a 60% win rate. Let's go to 15 minutes. 60, let's see. Also stays at 60. So this is not making a massive difference to me on this, on the Renko chart. So I'm going to leave that at the hourly. Let's see if momentum color changes in graph in the actual candle makes a difference. So let's add momentum to it. That dropped the win rate down. All right, let's look at divergence. That improved it. All right, so divergence makes a big difference, but it also reduces the number of trades. So I'm going to leave that off for the time being, and I'm just going to always show the target. So that trade here on a 10-to-1 risk multiple, there's my profit target, 121. All right, so that's a 10-to-1 ratio. All right, sometimes those numbers can be a little off, right, in terms of your ratios, and suddenly you look at it and go, is it realistic? How long am I going to be in that trade? So sometimes I don't even use that. I just wait for the signal to tell me to exit, and I will go. So guys, PowerTrend is a really, really basic tool. It's simple to use. It's extremely effective in terms of its win rates. Here you can see on the normal chart, even with a 24% win rate, if you're making that kind of money on trades, and this is over a 20-year period, right? So, if you just consistently followed this for 20 years, you would make a ton of money just using this tool. And you can see it's only capturing these movements while it's in the green. All right. This scenario here is what we call a continuation trade. So when we click continuation trade, what this will do is it will get you in, take you up to your profit line, take your profit, and then rebuild your position from the next candle. So this is a comprehensive all-in-one trade management tool focusing on trades, and it works. So guys, leave me a comment, give me a like. If you want to know anything more about how to use PowerTrend on your tools, please feel free, send me a note. I will be happy to cover it in future videos. But PowerTrend is definitely there for beginner and advanced traders alike. Let me know what you think. Happy trading to you guys. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more trading tips and product updates. Click the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload new content. Happy trading!